We have long been living in a world designed by men, for men, and this is reflected in how workplaces are designed. The working hours from 8 to 5, this is based on Industrial Revolution factory style, being physically present at work, and employers having no interest in the larger demands of life that people face. Then just throw in the maximizing profit ethos, which we now know is a shareholder myth. It spawned revenue targets, being bigger than last year, cornering market share, deliver goals, KPIs, get bonuses. The bell curve. Fire the bottom 10%. That works. People are machines, but we are people, and we are breaking down. Mental health conditions from anxiety and depression are soaring. In the past few years, we've seen Me Too, Black Lives Matter, and now pandemic, which turns the conventional workplace on its head. In the West, we have the Great Resignation as people decide they've had enough of poor workplace conditions and abuse. And in this backdrop, employers are trying to add diversity, gender, race, sexuality, physical and neurodiversities, but they're failing because they're treating diversities as a numbers game. Women are expected to fit into workplaces led by men and designed for men. That's why it's not working. You might get a few more women on the board, and it's great having mentorship programs. But how can us women be our brilliant, authentic selves and shine at senior levels when we still need to fit in a male-dominated structure? That woman on the board is doing a lot of heavy lifting. What I want to see is how companies are transforming the lives of every woman in your workplace, not just those aspiring to boards. Every woman who works in your supply chain, out in factories, plantations, and cleaning your offices when you have gone home. Every woman in society. In the West, we are looking at deeper inclusion. Bring women of all levels to the table and shape your work culture around them. When you do, you'll find everyone gets benefits. Women and men get the benefits of being with their kids. Women and men get to focus on their well-being and have their emotional needs met at work. Designing your workplace for women helps all employees. How? First, let's look at inclusion for your employees. One of the companies I judged created circles and listened to women at all levels. Now, when you do this, you understand the lived reality of the everyday woman, her childcare responsibilities, her exhaustion in juggling the multiple responsibilities that her family, society, and employers put on her. Her personal and psychological safety in a world where sexual harassment and workplace bullying has become normalized. And she's told, that's working life. If you can't stand the heat, go back to the kitchen. You need to build psychological safety and trust where women and men feel safe to report harm and know that you'll protect them and hold abusers accountable. Design your workplace around the needs of your employees. So what about pay equity? How many companies have performed a gender pay gap review? Like in the United Kingdom, are women earning as much as men? Even if the pay is the same for a role, you might find women dominate the lower ranks and men dominate the higher paying ranks, causing a gender pay gap. Aviation, for instance, shows a huge discrepancy as pilots are mainly men and flight attendants mainly women. Look at physical and structural barriers. Are women truly included in core business activities and design? Have you considered how STEM accommodates women? Something as basic as PPE, do they fit women? Do women have proper access to toilet facilities when working in remote locations? Are your factories and plants designed for women and their size? Why not? Have you seen how AI's bias against gender plus our unconscious bias against women harms talented women? Their names don't appear for promotion because of the words people put in performance appraisals. Because we don't like women who don't conform to society's idea of a woman. What are you doing to challenge unconscious bias? And this brings us to addressing sexism in society. Your employees and leaders are shaped by gender norms and stereotypes in society. Many of the participating companies that entered this year are big advertisers. What are you doing to ensure that adverts and communications portray women in leadership and decision making? No more of this objectifying women. Your company has many touch points. Your contractors, suppliers, associates, customers, you can influence them in terms of having more women in decision-making positions. And finally, let's talk about men. Men are in power and they have more power to make the change. So what we need are male allies. What work is your organization doing to encourage male allyship and to root out, neutralize, and remove misogynists? Around the world, social change is moving through corporate. You can make real change for women in your company, in your supply chain, and in broader society. You have the power to transform the world, elevate your women, and make it